So tell us about NeuroCheck and just your experience and how powerful it's been.
Yeah, well, it was a game changer for BrainTap. I mean, we were pretty popular before that, 12 years ago, before I started working with the company in Russia. And we're negotiating with them to buy that company. Hopefully, by the time they watch this, we're owners of that company because we have some big plans for it. We want to make it more mobile friendly and make it available to everybody so they don't have to be a clinic user. It won't be the same environment that a clinic user has, but we want to give them metrics that they can measure and they can use just their phone if they want. We're working on because the phone can be a pulse oximeter, which means we can measure blood flow, circulation, things like that through the phone's camera. And we're trying to get the math right so that we can get the same measurements. We're not quite there yet, but we're hoping to do that. We have a clinical model, but what we find is most people, they don't feel from the neck down. They're so cerebral, they don't even know what they're feeling. And they do a brain tap session and they go, I just fell asleep. Well, you're never just sleeping. There's literally trillions of activities going on every second of every minute of every hour of every day. You're either upregulating or downregulating, and we didn't have a way to measure it. So the Russians, in their cosmonaut program, they actually figured out you can't send up EEG and all these other sophisticated devices like we have here at the clinic. We can't send those up in a space capsule. So they had to figure out a way to do it. And what they found out was our heart has 40 what they call neutrino cells. So think of it like they're like neuron cells. They act and coordinate like a brain. And that brain actually, they found out, communicates with the rest of the body twice as much as the rest of the body does to the heart. So the heart, think of it like the orchestra leader of a symphony. It doesn't play the notes, but it makes sure everybody's in tune, everybody's all right. And this brain between our ears is more like a transmitter and a receiver of information. And we also now know, and this is our National Institute of Health, but it's known around the world, we have this biosphere of energy around us. Actually, in 1994, our National Institute of Health said that all illness starts in the field. Now, it's not a pharmaceutical, so it's not well known. So, but it's this energy system. So this energy medicine, like X-rays and fMRI and all these are all energy medicine. So this is what this is based on. So they know in physics, we need to know 3 different parameters, and we can measure any point in time. First, we know the cell. We know they've mapped the cellular integrity of every cell of the body. They know what your resistance is, in other words, in the human body. So think of it like a capacitor or electrical system. So they know that. That's one. Number 2, they know the organ or the part of the body they want to measure. So they know the overall, they know that. Now we're going to put a unique signal, and that's why you put the clips on the wrist. And then we're going to send a signal through the body. And while it's sending that signal through the body, there's also something called the RR function in the heart. This is the time duration between heartbeats. That time duration, your heart is literally sending codes to every cell of your body in between every heartbeat, telling it what to do, how to do it, what's the environment like, are you safe, you need to run, all that's being sent from your heart. There's a reason why there's more heart attacks on Monday morning than any other day of the week, because fear, stress, and anxiety. Yeah. So what they've done, I didn't do this. I just worked with the company that does it. And what we did is we took all those signals and we said, you know what? These are great numbers. And you see on the last page of the NeuroCheck, you can have all the numbers there. We can even measure inflammation in the body now. We're gonna create a graphic for you for that, and that'll be on the app pretty soon. But all of this is now presented as numbers. Now, what we did at Ames Bhopal, we did this also in Florianópolis, Brazil. We validated every one of these features with real-time 70 to 80 to 90 to $200,000 pieces of equipment, and we were spot on within zero margin of error. Wow! So these are true numbers. We can get it in 5 minutes. Now, if you want to go deeper, like we can show the brain activity. But if you want to go deeper, you do something like the Wabi, or we have some other EEG equipment. Then you can do split brain. You can do the right or left hemisphere. But what we're more concerned with is how much of your brain is in delta, how much of your brain is in theta, how much of your brain is in alpha, because this is the symphony we're talking about. So it gives us the data we need as brain fitness leaders to tell your brain how to work. Now, the one thing that most people don't realize is you have more neuron connections in your gut. So really, the first brain is your heart. Your second brain is your gut. Your third brain is the one between our ears. But everybody does it the opposite of that. They say the first brain's in your head, the second brain's in your gut, the third brain's in your heart. The reality is the heart runs the whole show. Because if you want to you can, of course, if you damage any parts of of your body, it's going to damage it all. But if you have a spinal injury, you're still digesting food. You could be a quadriplegic. You just can't walk. But that means that there's some brain in the gut. It's metabolizing, digesting, and using it. Now, I don't know of too many people that can function without a heart. Now they do have artificial hearts now that keep people alive, and things like that. So that can happen, but they don't have any artificial brain between our ears, so and they don't have any digestive system that can work. So I'm sure eventually they'll come up with that because they're building cyborgs everywhere, whatever. But the reality is that you have a self-replicating, self-improving system, but we have to present it with the right food, the right movement, the right thoughts. And then the body can produce this magnificent machine we call the human body. And then as conscious beings, we can use that to navigate through life.
Brilliant. And so you've noticed doing the neural check and then giving someone a brain tap program and then doing it again, that's sort of been better follow through for clients and that across the world.
Oh yeah. I mean, when I learned about this, I learned about it in Mexico, actually. I was at an event and the guy next to me had this device and he kept having people come over with light therapy. And then I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Well, I'm showing them how I'm increasing the energy in their nervous system." And I said, "Can we do a test with brain tap?" As soon as he did it, the guy bought his equipment, and it was at that time it was $10,000.
Wow!
And that's why I bought into the company, because I didn't want to sell it for $10,000. I wanted to give our people a better pricing. And I said, "Would you mind testing brain tap?" He said, "I'll do it." So we kind of worked together through that event. And I sold like 5 times the number of brain tap because of it showed. I go, dang, because I can tell them to the loser, the cows come home. But as soon as they see their own numbers, you see what's happening to you. You can't argue with your own numbers.
Yeah, I'm looking
forward to it. And I had a doctor when we first got it. He was a very well-known neuro doctor here in America. And he said, "That's just a number generator." I said, "Tell you what," we were in Vegas at this show. And I said, "Tell you what are you going to do?" He goes, "I'm going to go to the bar and have a drink." I go, "Okay. Why don't you go have a couple drinks? I'm going to stay set up here. We have these people to work with. Come back and I will scan you after you have 2 drinks." This is a number generator. It shouldn't have changed your numbers.
Yeah. It
will generate the same numbers consistently. I said, if I did a scan with you 5 minutes after doing it, you get the same numbers I got. It's not a number generator. It's actually, so he went and drank a couple drinks. When he came back, he went from a blue, vibrant brain to a black brain in less than 30 minutes.
Wow.
He said, "What happened?" I said, "You just compromised your brain function so poorly." He goes, "I only had 2 drinks." I said, "That's what 2 drinks does to your brain."